Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? Let me go into some other direction. We have been talking about football a lot. I just want to ask you this. Do you think
Hmm.
ISL can learn something from IPL and grow, or it just needs the time to develop organically?
I think the biggest problem that ISL could run into is that it might try to follow the IPL model. And that's my
Oh,
simple and precise answer to it. The reason being, IPL is a crash bang wallop tournament, right? And I have the utmost respect for it. I have benefited a lot from it in my career as well. It's a great tournament to watch. Inadvertently, it gives you entertainment right till the end of the 40th, I mean, the designated 40th over of the night. The ISL can't follow that format because if you're looking for long-term growth, you've got to look at making footballers play at least 25 to 30 games in a season. Minimum 30, in fact, not even 25. Minimum 30 games in a season. And for that, you need a longer season because unlike cricket, where a Royal
yeah,
Challengers Bangalore, like IPL, where they play today, they can also play day after, and they can also play the day after. You can't do that with the ISL. You'll kill the footballer. So because there's a certain amount of rest and recovery that's required for to play football, to be able to play at that intensity, you've got to spread those 30 games out over a good 6 or 7 month cycle. That is
yeah,
what looks
yeah,
realistic
yeah.
at the moment, and that's why it can never be the same as the IPL. So the and ideally, you what the IPL does is that it gives you. I think the IPL almost competes with a KBC and a Big Boss in terms of entertainment.
Oh,
This is how I look at it because I feel like it is cricket, but it's, I mean, there are nuances to it. There is analytics attached to it.
yeah,
There's so much now in the backroom staff of IPL teams which is contributing to their success, and in terms of their philosophy. In the ISL also it's similar, but you can't possibly go down that route because you've got to understand that you've got to spread it out over a period of time, and ISL cannot be fed daily to people because there has to be
exactly.
a hook and there has to be a craving to it. I
Yeah,
look forward to watching a Saturday night game of football now. And I mean, now obviously Premier League's also changed its ways, Friday night, Monday night, all of that.
uh,
But you look forward to those 3, 4 days of football, and you look forward to that one day of Champions League or 2 nights of
exactly.
Champions League football. And that's the
Agreed.
way football's been divided in the top tiers around the world. But if ISL has to reach that level, I think ISL has to create that hook where people should want to watch it instead of it being readily available every single day. It's got to be a window where you run from say Thursday to Sunday or Thursday to Monday, and give people a breather so that like, aaj kaun sa match hai? Thursday aa
Yeah,
raha hai. So that if those people who are interested and invested have to want to crave it more, you can't just be giving them all the time. Because वो value नहीं रह जाती. This is what I think, but obviously this is a work in progress, and it's not my decision. But it would be nice if it goes down that road rather than an IPL which is double headers every
yeah.
day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and you lose track of कौन कहाँ खेल रहा है, किसके कितने point हैं, and कौन सी team में.
Yeah, exactly. But what do you think would be that hook? You know, they've tried having the foreign players, काफी बड़े players हमने यहाँ पे ISL में लाके खिलाए हैं. But then, you know, to personally, I'm most excited about seeing the Indian youngsters, like the guy Kian Nasiri. You know, when he scored that hat trick, I was losing my cool. So I'm, for one, not very much motivated about seeing, let's say, a Cristiano Ronaldo in the ISL. I would be much more invested in seeing who's the young guy, who's the 17-year-old kid, man. Let's keep an eye on him. So, you know, I hope that there are people like me
Yeah.
who are looking out for the youngsters that are coming up from the ISL. So that can't be the hook. Uh, what should be? There are very few people who would, you know, think like that. They would rather be hoping Wayne Rooney aage khel le, that would be better.
Yeah, so I think the way ISL started was, let's get some of the big names in
Hmm.
the dusk of their careers and let's try and use that as a hook. I remember there was a case मैं Delhi Dynamos का game कर रहा था in my first season, in the first season of the ISL, and I can never forget that moment. So I'm commentating in Hindi, and there were these English commentators, and in the 39th or 38th minute of the first half, Alessandro Del Piero, जिसको
Hmm.
देखने सारी जनता आई हुई है वहां पे
Yeah.
जवाहरलाल नेहरू स्टेडियम में, decides to bring himself on. The
Yeah.
coach was Harm van Veldhoven, and you know he didn't know what was happening around him,
Oh shit.
and he just bring himself on. And I thought the player can't be bigger than the coach. It almost reminds me of that Aretha Balaga incident, which
Mauricio
happened with
Sarri.
Mauricio Sarri, where he just refused to come off, and this guy just brings himself on. And I mean, Del Piero was a great. Okay, make no mistake of the fact. but nobody's bigger than the game.
Of course.
And maybe he saw the game in a way that he thought the game needs me at the moment. If Delhi had to do something in this game, I need to bring myself, and maybe the coach doesn't see it that way. But it's still not done. I thought the first year kind of was defined by a lot of these big name players exercising a lot of influence on the way things were being played. Over a period of time, ISL has become more about bringing younger foreigners who might not be big names, but they've played in, say, the second division of a Portugal or a second or third division of Spain. Similarly with coaches as well, they've coached at that level, and then they've come to India. And what that did was that they brought best practices that they've learned in their countries. So the dressing room still benefited from it. So when you're talking about a Kian Nasiri, he would still benefit from a Tiri. But a Tiri is not 38, 39 who's played for Real Madrid when he was 21, 22 and never played again. A Tiri came to India in his mid-20s or in his late 20s and has stuck on since then. So I think that there's a change in the way ISL is now bringing in people from outside, and also the number of foreigners going down every, with every passing year. That automatically made it a little more central to, as in with Indian players being more central to the plans. The hook initially was that, but the hook no longer is this. The hook is now just about ISL being your top tier in the country. That if you want to take up professional football, right, here's a league that you can aspire towards. Now you don't need to lie to your mom and dad saying, "Yaar, मैं football खेलने जा रहा हूँ," and they will turn around and say, "यार, तो पैसे कैसे कमाओगे?" ISL से कमाऊंगा.
Exactly.
So at least it's given that. Now that is the minimum base level where we're looking. As we speak, there is a Reliance Foundation Development League game that will decide the champion between Kerala Blasters and Bengaluru FC. So there's a lot of money being invested in that. I think we just need to get our structure right.
Exactly.
And I think we just need to be a little more patient with getting that structure right as well. Don't want to rush into something and then say, shit, that didn't work. Okay, now what do we do? So, okay, let's backtrack, and call it Del Piero again. You don't want to do that. So just incremental steps, but the right steps would be better.
Exactly. And nowadays you see that fans are very much passionate as well. Man, look at the Kerala fans. They're crazy. And look at the fans from Bengal. So उधर वहाँ पे वो passion है. I would not say the same about the other states as well, but then you still feel that the passion is somewhere over there when the teams are playing. So I think patience is the key. Patience is the key. जब आप किसी चीज को step by step धीरे-धीरे बढ़ाते हो, that is the best way to proceed. And I hope कि ये जो नए changes, I heard about reforms coming in the ISL. उसके season को लंबा करना है, उसको 6-7 महीने का बनाना है, and then Super Cup डालना है उसमें, and then from over there किसी तरीके से उसको European calendar से match करना है, transfer market को देखना है, things like that. तो I hope कि ये सारी चीजें हो, तो that would benefit. I'm sorry, but this would bring us to the end of the conversation. I hope I wish that it would have lasted longer, but I just wanted to say that it was a great pleasure to have you over here, and
thanks a lot for having me.
I mean, I hope ki Sagarika ma'am is great, and we would get to talk again soon on the next episode of Talk Football with.
Absolutely. I would love to have a chat with you guys, and I mean, more power to you as well for what you're doing. And you're one of those people who's spreading the good word about football in the country, and you're also making sure that there's a focus on Indian football, and I hope that continues, because that's what we want going forward. We want to be able to talk about our own football. Hopefully we'll see, there's a lot of chat about India making it to the World Cup and all. I think that may be a distant dream, but hopefully we can qualify for the Asian Cup and get Indian football in the center of the conversation once again. And if we can, you and I and people like us can watch this and play a small but significant part in its growth and progress, why not?
Well said, Anant. That will bring me to the end of this conversation. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you guys like this podcast, do drop a like and do subscribe to the channel. We are bringing you these kinds of content very regularly. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys very soon. Until then, as always, Anant, we're gonna do this, okay? Follow me. Peace out.
Thanks a lot. Absolutely. Peace out.
Got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go, we.
Welcome to Talk Football HD. So my first question to you would be, कैसे हैं आप?
Thank you, brother. मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ. आपसे मिलके और भी ठीक हूँ.